Welcome back, viewers, to your favourite clueless sim racing idiot, where in this video I'm going to be talking about Assetto Corsa Evo's latest update that enabled you to be able to do the license test challenges. I have no life at all, so we spent 6 hours completing all the license challenges, and this is what I thought of it. You have to be a subscriber so you can unsubscribe, so make sure you're subscribed. The record is 5 minutes between sub and unsub, so see if you can beat that. And there is a like button. Do what you want with it. Now, I personally am a pathetic idiot sim racer with really low requirements for getting entertainment value from video games. So I quite enjoyed going through these license challenges, which really just consist of the tracks being broken up into smaller sections and you having to get specific lap times. A lower lap time being harder and getting you 3 stars versus a high lap time getting you 1 star. Generally, you do the small sections and then you do a full lap of the track. This is very reminiscent to what you would have in GT Sport. However, it is worse than even the golden disco balls of GT Sport and is possibly one of the least inspired and most devoid of soul single-player license challenges that's ever happened in the history of video games. Even the traffic cones are seemingly positioned somewhat arbitrarily, with breakpoints not very obvious, turning points not necessarily correct, and to be honest, they might as well not bothered. Now, hopefully this is just the license mode and they're going to have a driving school and other stuff to do with single player, so I don't want to be too harsh, but it's about as devoid of soul or excitement as one could possibly get. Even things like achieving the lap times, there's no really nice fanfare, no real reward for doing any better other than a star graphic on the screen. It's like the Kunos game designers were Chinese children gymnasts training for the Olympics. You've done 300 backflips and a perfect somersault. Not good enough. And when you do complete a whole license, you don't get any nice graphics or music or little montage. Nothing. It's just miserable. It's something that I think sim racers or people that think they're playing a simulator will somehow in their brain reconfigure it as being like, oh, this is really realistic because the developer's treating us like we have no joy. And to be fair, sim racing is a completely joyless activity, so maybe Kunos are right to design it this way. As I say, I'm a pathetic loser sim racer, so I did enjoy it, but what I didn't enjoy is the constant disconnecting of the servers, because in all their wisdom, Kunos has the game effectively have to always be online, and their servers are apparently run from Marco's boot. So every time he drives around a tunnel in Monaco in his supercar, counting his Kunos money, the internet goes off, and you then have to manually reconnect or restart the game, which really breaks the flow and also means that sometimes you do a time and it doesn't save, or it does do the time and it does save but it doesn't display it on the screen. So, you know, just be prepared again to be slapped in the face with a undercooked pineapple pizza when you play this, and then you might enjoy it, but it's actually quite depressing the state in which games are, though early access, so you can't complain. I'd imagine by the time in a year when this is not early access, they'll have maybe dialed this in so the people playing on games console, who they'll be able to make the most amount of money out of, will probably have a smoother experience. But early access, can't complain. Now, with the update, you could now see some of the other single player components and some of the UI elements that show that you're going to be able to do things like replace hubcaps, car colour, and a whole bunch of things, which obviously you'll be able to use in-game credits for. And this, I think, will effectively be why Assetto Corsa Evo will sell so well and be such a popular simulator. Physics, force feedback, actual gameplay, it doesn't really matter. What really does matter is vapid, rampant celebration of consumerism and the ability to buy those beautiful hubcaps that you always wanted on your real car but you couldn't afford. And I can totally see how it would be addictive to play through single player, get some credits, or even multiplayer get credits, and then do upgrades and various features to your vehicle in the simulator. If Kunos can really leverage that, as I say, I think they're going to make an absolute killing, because there's people desperate for something that's a bit Gran Turismo-like, but also a little bit more realistic, and also on all the platforms, not just the PlayStation. And let's face it, I don't think Kunos can even compete with the original Assetto Corsa. The game's borderline free, has incredible VR support, basically every car and track you can think of. I mean, you can drive a dinosaur or a banana. I'm not sure how Kunos can compete with that. Though, in fairness, and this is something I've not seen anybody else talk about, Kunos are competing with every video game in terms of the sheer quantity of noodle men that they've placed on racetracks. No other simulator has as many noodle men that are finely animated, such that Assetto Corsa Evo does. I think I counted 8 of them around Suzuka. Lime Rock Park, I think, had about 6. And I wouldn't even be surprised if these noodle men are what are causing the majority of the frame rate issues, because they do look really nicely animated, decent physics, really nicely rendered. It's good to know that Kunos are focusing on what's important. So, yes, my final thoughts of this so far. The Always Online is terrible. The license challenges are uninspired and miserable, but still enjoyable if you are pathetic, such as myself. Evo is generally drivable. I do like some aspects of the handling. I think it can be interesting in some ways, but I'm also incredibly skeptical in that, to me, there's some really wonky stuff with the driving in this simulator. Early access, can't complain. And of course, you know, my views on force feedback, it really is atrocious in this game. You have to crank it up really high to get any form of dynamic range, and then a lot of it is not really conducive to actually helping you drive faster. We actually turned the force feedback off entirely to do some of the challenges, and it was genuinely easier to drive the cars, or basically made no difference whatsoever using force feedback versus not using force feedback. Contrary to the original Assetto Corsa, where the force feedback lets you feel every moment what's going on with the tyres, drive by feel, and really experience the essence of driving that you get from real cars. Oh well, it is what it is. It will be popular, it will make lots of money. I think a lot of YouTubers will make a lot of money out of this, and ultimately, what matters more in life than making money and consumerism? Nothing. So, thanks for watching this video, thanks for unsubscribing, and until the next one, happy tea drinking, take care, and goodbye.